CFM Radio.
CFM Radio. A little late, but we're on the day.
Oh man, CFM Radio, video game music and news. That's what Vector and I, Drix, are here to give you every Wednesday of every week. What's up, Vector?
What's up, Drix? That's right, CFM video game music and news. I am your host, Vector, and with me as always is Drix spinning the tune.
Yeah, man, and please excuse me and thank you for waiting, but that new Pokemon pinball machine by Stern Pinball, based out of Chicago, I have caught no more than like 10. I think I've caught 7 or 8 Pokemon so far, but I am giving away my strategies. Where are the multi-balls? What even is a Pikachu? Who knows? Who cares? I'm playing pinball with all my Gen X kind of friends who weren't there watching Pokemon with us before school every morning. And I think a lot of us are pretty hooked. You know, everybody likes this new Pokemon pinball game. And every time I talk to somebody about it, they say, oh, I haven't played Pokemon pinball since the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Advance. So, as far as video game music and news goes, that's been my hot take for like the last week or so, as far as I've had the new Pokemon pinball machine locally at my arcade / brewery.
And you know, Pokemon pinball, again, like you were saying, Drix, a Game Boy Classic, and now that you can get your hands on something that is actual Pokemon pinball, where you can, and again, you got to remember, everybody, when you're talking about pinball in the States, Stern Pinball especially, you are also talking about moving your, like downloading the app. You know, it's kind of like Japan has Nesca, well, we have Stern, and that like...
Insider connected. If you sign up for an account, you get a QR code and you can scan into every game and it keeps track of all your high scores. You get achievements if you like, you know, gamer points on PlayStation or Xbox Live, or any achievements that you get on Steam. There's a whole world of pinball just waiting for you nearby. Download the Pinball Maps app, find a pinball machine. If it's a modern Stern game, you can scan in. And as always, whether it's pinball, trading card games, fighting games, you know, Vector and I highly encourage you to participate in local tournaments. Anything going on near you, near your local home address, where you earn your taxable income and all that, where you're getting your voter registration forms. I'm sure there's a local gaming tournament near you that you should probably, you know, maybe start investing in, get a little participation, maybe make some new friends. So,
exactly.
Everybody get in there, have a good time.
And you know what? If you really are hard pressed for multiplayer experiences or gaming experience, social gaming experience, listen, you're looking at one of the best in the business on the screen right now. That's Marathon. Drix and I have been, every time we jump on this, it's always a pretty good time. Like,
unique experience. I got my knife out last night and murked a couple people, and yeah, it's unbelievable. To me, again, if you have or have not read the article that Vector wrote on clusterfuckedmedia.com, kind of lays out, you know, some of the strategies and perks and advantages, and more or less why Marathon is not Arc Raiders. Both are good in their own right, whichever you prefer. There's an extraction shooter for everybody. But as of late, you know, Bungie, from Halo and Destiny fame, they've made quite the extraction shooter. So it kind of, to me, makes me wonder if Arc Raiders just cheated off of their test answers and then handed in their test first.
It definitely, I will say, Arc Raiders and Marathon have totally different feels, and one of the main different feels is it's raids and quote-unquote end-game content. You're seeing it on the screen right now. This is all me and my brother. We had to fill. Drix isn't quite high enough level yet, but...
Nope. Doing anything ranked. Just getting my ass beaten in solos and stuff with the free kits so I don't have to lose any of my sweet loot.
And hey, you know what? That's one of the things that you learn quickly in this game is that every gun is gray trash rarity. So the mods make the gun, and it is definitely when you go into the cryo archive, you definitely get that sense of if you're not built to, or you don't have a kit that really complements how you like to play or your own play style, it
Your
definitely,
shell.
yeah, your shell, or even how
What
you,
shell are you going to download your consciousness into?
and then what are you going to trick it out with? Because I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
Drix, this cryo archive, when I was running through it, it was the first time I had ever been through it. It was the last day. It was on Sunday. It was me and my brother, and we had to fill our last guy. We got 2 runs in before the lockout. And I got to say, this is absolutely like nothing I have ever experienced before. It is one of those things where this definitely feels like a mega dungeon, but
Ooh.
it evokes a almost old school feel because you're in there with your squad, but there's a ton of enemies. Plus, of course, as the as extraction shooters do, enemy players also spawning in. And I gotta tell
Yeah.
you, when you're in a large, like World of Warcraft style raid environment or Destiny style raid environment, that it feels overwhelming and overbearing to simply set foot in. It is absolutely high. The action and intensity is absolutely high when you run into another enemy team. And like I said, it's one of those. It is an old school feeling because in reality, it feels like one of those old school multi-user dungeons where if you ran into somebody, you might just be fucked because they're gonna kill you.
Wow.
Like,
I can't think of an RPG that does that, really.
it's like I said, it's like super old school. You have to go back to text RPGs type thing. Like,
Yeah. Not even, I can't think of like a World of Warcraft or a Final Fantasy where you're all spawning into the same dungeon and then competing for loot or whatever. That's insane.
it's a really, really fun experience. Of course, got to try again this weekend. But it's one of those things that makes Marathon stand out from its contemporaries. And this is not one of those things where it's like a lot of people will say like, oh well, Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov, or other games have this kind of content too. Marathon absolutely has that level of polish that you don't get in those other titles.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I can't speak on Escape from Tarkov, but I do understand lack of polish since I've been playing Sandland with my 7-day free trial of PlayStation Premium that I got from buying Marathon. It's like, yeah, I see why people don't like, maybe Sandland might have gotten review bombed a little bit. It's not as polished, but I'm in it for the Akira Toriyama mech design, okay?
That flare though.
Yeah. And man, another thing that bothers me about Sandland real quick is that a lot of the voice lines are recycled. I love the voice acting. I'm playing it for the story as well, but every time I pick something up, I get the same voice line and it gets a little repetitive, as you're sprawling through the desert. But
It's a bit PS2.
it's a bit PS2, exactly. Hitting the nail on the head for lack of better words. But I've been thoroughly enjoying Marathon, and yeah, I can't wait to experience one of these raids. So maybe after my Casuist show in Anaheim this Saturday, maybe I'll get into some of this Marathon raid.
It's definitely worth checking out. If you haven't tried Marathon, it's absolutely a game worth picking up. It's $40. It's not exactly the big, especially if you have a group of friends to play with. Marathon is absolutely a ton of bang for your buck. You will get a ton of time out of it.
Yeah, even just for me, like if I'm playing solo, I've had a much a much more broad range of experiences playing solo in Marathon than I have in Arc Raiders. But it's all good. It's all fun. It's all first-person shooting, and if there wasn't like a delay between my controller, my sound bar, and my TV, then maybe I'd be a little better at aiming. But I'm having a good time playing Marathon, and even by myself, a little, just, a couple notches above where I'm at with Arc Raider, getting murked by clankers as soon as I enter an open area.
But we'll move from what we have been playing and moving away from the greatness that is Marathon and Pokemon Pinball. I'm moving to the game review of the night, and that is Grind Survivors. Now, we talked about this game a little bit last week, and Grind Survivors is absolutely high-octane action that is at times feels nonstop and can definitely feel like a push forward in the auto shooter genre by more embracing bullet hell / Smash TV style old school fundamentals, right?
You mean 2 joysticks,
Yeah.
That's what Smash TV brought to the table.
Yeah,
2 joysticks, 1 move and 1 to shoot.
The twin stick shooter. This game could be confused for a twin stick shooter because like we said last week, of the ability to toggle on and off auto fire, allowing you to aim manually and spray in the way that you want to. You know what though, Drix? So I came to I still stand by what I said last week. This game is absolutely one of those games where if you want to just sit down, play it for an hour, have a good time of high octane action and blast away some zombies, blast away some demons. You get onto other biomes later and you unlock more characters. But I gotta tell you, Drix, the one thing that dampens the experience for Grind Survivors, and I put about 14 hours into this game for context. I was not able to finish it, but it was mainly because, and I'll tell you why, the motivation dies when you realize you have to beat each biome about 5 times in different difficulties to unlock the next biome.
Ah, yes. So that doesn't sound very rewarding, just having to do it on increased difficulty again, right?
And that really is where the friction presents itself, Drix. It presents itself in the way where even though you're unlocking new weapons and new upgrades, new runes, new synergies between your leveling up abilities, and it definitely always feels involved. You always feel like you're in control of every run, even when you're getting overwhelmed. But the grind is truly a killer. You might not survive the grind that Grind Survivors puts in front of you, because it is one of those things where the enemies don't change unless you switch biomes. In order to switch a biome, you need to beat the area 5 times in different difficulties, and these difficulty jumps are not trivial. They definitely spike after a time, but they are, for the most part, rather steady. So you could be going through the biome, you will feel every level, because every level drops better equipment 1 level higher than the previous level. So you will always be a little bit behind in damage.
Okay.
Unless you have like sweet tricked out gear, which you can do, but there are mechanisms that make upgrading risky, and there are mechanisms that discourage you from hanging on to one weapon going into different levels of the game. So when push comes to shove, when you're playing through the game, it emphasizes the grind. And unless you're here for that, which you could be, this absolutely is an enthusiast's game. If you're really shooter genre, you love yourself some Smash TV, you love yourself some Vampire Survivors, and you want a little bit more from that game or that kind of genre, this is absolutely for you. But if you're not into these kinds of games, this is absolutely not going to turn you into a believer. This is not for people this is not for your friend who is brand new to the genre, who you're like, you know what game you should play? Grind Survivors. No.
Yeah. You might want to ask a couple questions first if somebody recommends this one to you. It's not going to change your heart of hearts or your mind about the sort of auto shooter genre if you haven't already experienced what we used to call the twin stick shooter genre, a la Smash TV and the like.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where when you realize that's the pedigree of this game, and those things have sort of married but kind of taken a step backward, funny enough, into like the fundamentals of the genre, then you can appreciate what's going on here, especially Drix, because like you're seeing on the screen, the stat spread on the right side of the screen is very robust, and this game can be very involved when you're playing through it. It can be almost like an RPG. And there are different characters you can unlock who have different strengths and different special abilities, so it can be a very in-depth experience, but you gotta be there for the grind. Every single time you unlock a new biome, it's 5 levels of difficulty, and there's rewards waiting for you at the end. But man, the first biome, Drix, took me 10 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a bit of an investment, and it sounds like a bit of a slow boil as far as the difficulty increases go, where you mean you have to beat it on all the difficulties, or can you just
Nope, you have to
ahead
beat it.
Understand the genre,
Yeah, you gotta beat it. You have to beat it through, and I gotta say that again, this is another reason why I say this is for the enthusiast. This is absolutely for the fan of this type of game. Like 100% first and foremost. If you are a fan, Grind Survivors is for you, because all of those in-depth systems do work with one another to where by the end of my time with Grind Survivors, I understood its language. I just really didn't want to indulge in it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that is a questionable decision.
Yeah, but like I said, it'll have its audience. It definitely is for the hardcore twin stick / auto shooter fan, and for that reason, I will give Grind Survivors a 3 out of 5. It is absolutely a respectable game. 100% made for the fans of the genre, and I'm sure if you are a fan of this type of game, you'll pick up Grind Survivors and you will get lost in it. There's so much to love because you can really trick out your character, especially with all the different kinds of weapons. There are so many weapons, and you unlock so many different ways to play the game. Again, there are so many ways to play the game. Auto fire, not auto fire. Big decision, because depending on your weapon, you're probably going to want to play the game in a certain way. There are even weapons where you might not want to have auto fire on, but you might want to have the automatic ability trigger on, so that you can always be kind of manually shooting and making those precision shots while your super can just keep going off over and over and over again while you don't need to worry about it. But man, oh man, do you really need to engage with the systems? Do you need to engage with the stats? Do you need to push? It's one of those things where if you don't realize that your damage stat is not growing at a sufficient rate to help you kill the mobs that you're coming up against in maybe the number that they're up against you haven't maybe hit enough shrines, you're not ready for the boss that's going to spawn when the timer hits that specific number every time. You can be good at this game. You just gotta want it.
Yeah, and if you're a Smash TV fan, that's only gonna benefit you on your road through the grind surviving.
Exactly. So Grind Survivors, 3 out of 5. I do believe that if you are a fan, or right now, you're going to play it, you're going to get lost in it, you're going to love the systems, you're going to adore, the aesthetic is great, the soundtrack is awesome. There isn't a lot of auto shooters that really have this level of graphical polish, I gotta say. This game looks great. Like the,
Usually what we call like pixel shit, you know.
yeah, exactly. Or the new PS1 homage style 3D the 3D block shit, right? You know, you get that. You get those sort of retro ripoffs. This game doesn't do that. It really takes itself seriously, and it really has a certain degree of craftsmanship to it. It just really, really caters to that audience.
Yeah. So again, like 3 out of 5 is a respectable score here on CFM Radio.
Yeah.
It might not change the hearts and minds of people who are not fans of the genre, but if you are, you might want to dive full on into this great game.
Yeah, Grind Survivors is definitely one that is made for twin stick / auto shooter fans, like by twin stick / auto shooter fans for twin stick / auto shooter fans. It is the genre man's
all
game.
Your roguelite RPG, modern,
Yeah.
stat building that you come to expect in the year 2026.
Yeah, it's a good one. Grind Survivors, pick it up if you're a fan. If you're a genre fan, you might want to skip it, or if the aesthetic appeals to you, you like the polish. It has a great soundtrack. Grab it when it's on sale.
Yes.
But Drix, I gotta say, before we jump into the new releases in the news, we gotta jam out to this track. What are we listening to?
Ooh, right now we are listening to Macross Scrambled Valkyrie for the Super Nintendo. The song is called SDF, or in the Macross Uniforce Space Defense Force 1.
Macross Space Defense Force 1, CFM Radio.
CFM Media.
We'll be back.
Time to scramble your Valkyries.
CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are back. Make sure, if you love what we do, give us a like. If you really love what we do, subscribe if you want to hear us every week. And if you love us or hate us and you want to just talk to us for any reason, contact at Clusterfucked Media. That's FUKT Media.com. Drix. That was a classic.
Man, from what I hear, yeah, Saturn is in return from what I'm hearing from my friends who practice Wicca. But that last song was from Sonic R for the Sega Saturn. Living in the City, a classic, because, you know, most of us coming from urban areas are, in fact, living in the city, and we know what it takes to survive, but we've got to keep that dream alive.
We do. And unfortunately, and you are watching a game right now on the screen that did not keep the dream alive. This is not Concord. Ha ha! Freudian
man.
slip.
That easy target.
Whoa, Freudian slip. This is High Guard. Like,
But that's like that's the most recent one, right? Hey, High Guard. I wanted to. I was like, I need to play it before they turn it off at least, but I didn't even. I had it on my hard drive, fully installed, ready to go. These games, why even do they do that?
They just shut that boy down, dude. They didn't even give a shit. It was like, High Guard, what's that?
We barely knew ye.
Indeed, we did. We barely knew ye, High Guard. But you know what, Drakes? Out with the old, in with the new, because it's time for new releases.
Yeah, you can always get excited for new releases here on CFM Radio because aside from the video game music that I love to play for you, we also do video game news, and a part of that is what can you play this week in video games. And we know, we keep it diverse. We've got something for everyone every week here on CFM Radio.
Indeed, because first up we have Screamer. And Drix, this one's from the Steam page, quote, high-octane action racing and anime aesthetics collide in this arcade racing game, featuring fighting mechanics and a storyline that hits hard. In this world, some race for glory while others seek power or revenge. Every race is a fight and every battle is personal. Screamer releases tomorrow, Thursday, March 26th, for PS5, PC, and Xbox Series consoles.
Yeah, now what you mean this got an anime racing aesthetic with fighting game mechanics? It's giving Initial D, you know what I'm saying? And
right?
Yeah, this sounds like a good time.
Definitely looks amazing.
Yeah, so as long as they don't mess up the control scheme and it feels good driving these bad boys, it sounds like you've got yourself a winner here. Deja vu, running in the 90s, gotta go fast. Let's go.
Again, this is Screamer, and it comes out tomorrow, Thursday, March 26th for PS5, PC, and Xbox Series consoles.
All right. Sorry, handheld Switch guys, but
unfortunately.
Yep, a little bit. But, you'll get your anime racing where you can get it.
Next up, we have the Marvel Maximum Collection.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good arcade classics and stuff that I might emulate frequently in this collection coming up right here.
Indeed, and from the Steam page, quote, experience one of the most comprehensive gatherings of Marvel's early gaming legacy. Every major iteration across arcade and home consoles. This collection is a curated journey through the evolution of the 1990s Marvel Universe in pixels.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time to me, and I'm not even the biggest comic book fan.
Me neither, and I love some of these games. Maximum Carnage, Separation Anxiety, Spider-Man, X-Men, Arcade's Revenge. These are great games. And you know what, Drix? The Marvel Maximum Collection releases Friday, March 27th, PC, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Nintendo Switch. This one, even the handheld guys get in on it.
Yeah, good times. Just let me license, bro. These games are already great. I have a theory that some of the best games have already been made, and I can tell you, for one, I used to see a couple of these like Avengers, Marvel games out in arcades all the time. I would go to friends' houses, and of course, they'd have a copy of like Maximum Carnage lying around. The soundtrack for Maximum Carnage was also done by a 90s alternative rock heavy metal
Yes.
group called Green Jelly, who's actually really cool, you know? So, yeah, I mean, guaranteed you're going to get at least one great soundtrack out of this one, but hours of good times to be had with classic Marvel arcade games, home console games. If you're a Spider-Man fan or an Avengers fan, you're going to want to know your roots on this one and enjoy yourself the Marvel Maximum Collection.
Indeed, Marvel Maximum Collection, absolutely a game that you don't want to miss, because it is like it's not lying when it says it's one of the most comprehensive collections in pixels.
Yes, I don't work for Disney or Marvel, but I can vouch for that. This is the pixel art classic Marvel games. Go enjoy.
And with that, I think we should get into the news.
Yeah. Ooh, and we might have, from what we've reported here on CFM Radio, like one of the most played games in the last several years.
Let's say 5 years.
Yeah, as far as we know, this is like the biggest player base we can speak of to date in recent history.
And today, or yesterday, I should say, March 24th, we're going to throw it up right here. We got High Guard up front, and we got V-Bucks right here in the center. Because
and if I'm not mistaken, we were talking about the price increase in V-Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Here, that was our CFM video game news from us to use. Is that there was recently a price hike in V-Bucks, right?
And now we are here with Epic Games. Tim Sweeney himself coming out saying that they are laying off 1,000 employees, Drix.
Ooh, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of labor. That's a lot of people whose hands you might have shaken in the office one day.
I'm going to read the note that is posted on epicgames.com, dated March 24th, 2026. At the top, quote, "This is sent to Epic employees today. Today we're laying off over 1,000 Epic employees. I'm sorry we're here again. The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place." And we're going to read further here, because Tim Sweeney right here is saying some pretty interesting things. But before we jump into it, we want to see really what he cut through the cake and see what he's really going to say. Since this is a thing now, I should note that the layoffs aren't related to AI. To the extent it improves productivity, we have to have as many awesome developers developing great content and tech as we can. What we now need to do is build awesome Fortnite experiences with fresh seasonal content, gameplay, story, and live events. Accelerate developer tools with greater stability and capability as we evolve from Unreal Engine 5 and UEFN to Unreal Engine 6, and we'll be kicking off the next generation of Epic with huge launch plans toward next year. Market conditions today are the most extreme we've seen since those early days, with massive upheaval in the industry combined by massive opportunity for the companies that come out as winners on the other side. That's what we're aiming to do for our players, and we aim to bring our other like-minded developers in the industry along with the journey to build an increasingly open and vibrant future for entertainment together. So Drix, it is an interesting
Lay it
thing
on me.
thing to see that Fortnite and a lot of even analysts, we have it here from Polygon. Quote, the headline is, quote, "Epic layoffs are a bad sign," says analyst. "If Fortnite can't make it, what chance do other games have?" Drix, I gotta just stop right there. Right?
Yeah, that's a bit of clickbait farming right there.
Right
That's
there.
my enemy anyway. It's like, oh no, panic in the gaming industry. And it's like, dude, it's just Fortnite. How many people do you know play Fortnite?
A lot of people play Fortnite, Drix, but you know what? Here's the thing. I don't think
Most people even.
it's not really Fortnite's fault, right? That's the reality. You and I can both say it. It's not really Fortnite's fault. If you've been listening to CFM Radio, we've commented on every single time that Epic Games has lost money. They lose money on the Epic Games Store. They lose money in court. They lose money on these exclusive deals, and to the point where they are putting cryptocurrency-based games onto their Epic Games Store, where that, in reality, when we take everything together, yeah, exactly. Well, when we take everything together, Drix, we can really see that over the billions of dollars that Epic loses in lawsuits, publishing, and giving away free games on their failing storefront, that maybe Fortnite might be on a downturn, right? Maybe.
Yeah, and let's not confuse Fortnite, the live service free-to-play game, with the entirety of the gaming sphere.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. And again, it's a big deal that Fortnite is, I suppose, bleeding players, but you also have to realize that Fortnite is taking the brunt of the damage that has already been inflicted by Epic Games to themselves. Tim Sweeney does not care. Again, if you've been listening to CFM Radio, you heard it here. He has been incredibly cavalier on the cuts that the Google Play Store and the Apple Store and the Apple App Store take, to the point where Apple banned him and Fortnite because he found a way to get around the payment processor built into the Apple App Store. So,
yeah, they don't like that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I feel bad for a lot of Fortnite players at this point, because they are taking the brunt and they are feeling the effects of a larger corporate entity that, regardless of the rhetoric that Tim Sweeney and his boys say, he truly just shut them all down because he made some mistakes.
Yeah, maybe it was a little too bullish in the wrong areas or arenas of Fortnite play.
Well, one thing's for sure, Drix. Fortnite players are not happy. This is one of those things that is supposed to be, an alarm bell for the industry. And when you take a step back, is it really an alarm bell? Or is this one of those things where you look at Roblox, you look at Fortnite, you look at the troubles they're running into, and then you look at what's over the horizon, and you think to yourself, maybe something's about to change, right?
Yeah, I mean, if something's got to go, something else has to show up in its place. Am I right?
You are right, and we have more video game news. But first, let's take a minute, jam out to this. Drix, what are we listening to?
This song is from the Great Ace Attorney Adventures for the 3DS. This is a bit of an orchestral suite here. It's called the Curtain Call Suite, Adventures End.
Curtain Call Suite, Adventures End, CFM Radio.
CFM Radio.
We'll be back.
best game. CFM.
CFM, we are back.
We are back and we are live. I cannot stress enough that Saturn is in return. So that song was from the Sega Saturn. That was Nights into Dreams, a song called Dreams Dreams. If you listen to CFM Radio and you stick around for the music breaks, there's many versions of this one, but that was the kids version. Dreams Dreams for the children.
Dreams Dreams for the children right here on CFM Radio, and it seems as though the dreams of the children are not with Nintendo, at least not with their Switch 2 consoles, because we have it right here from IGN.com. Quote, the headline is...
Most of the kids that wanted a Switch 2 probably got one around the holiday season last year,
yeah,
right?
That's what I would say, because Nintendo, we have the headline, it's, quote, Nintendo Switch 2 production cut 33% following weak holiday sales, report claims.
Ooh, yeah, it might take the 30-somethings, the 40-somethings, the millennials, and the Gen X's a little bit longer to catch on to the Switch 2 train, am I right?
Just a little bit, because we got it here, quote, that's according to Bloomberg, whose sources say Nintendo now expects to make 4 million Switch 2 units this quarter, down 33% on the 6 million it previously planned to manufacture. Nintendo recently confirmed it had sold fewer Switch 2 consoles internationally over the holiday period than it had once hoped, particularly in the United States, though the impact of this had also been dulled somewhat by the stronger sales in its homeland of Japan.
Oh, man. I mean, you know, I'd like to think that 4 million is enough Nintendo Switch 2s that if I really needed one, I could acquire one, but who knows? I mean, will the 4 million get gobbled up as opposed to if they had manufactured 6 million? I mean, you know, do they want a surplus of Switch 2s laying around, or are they cool with just, you know, their standard base of 4 million Switch 2s?
Well, I'll say it like this, Trix. I won't say it. I'll end things on this note. Following this quote from the IGN article, quote, overall, Switch 2 remains Nintendo's fastest-selling console at launch ever, with an explosive arrival propelled by the recent success of the original Switch. But all eyes will be on Nintendo now to shore up its lineup of Switch 2 games for the rest of 2026, when fans hope they'll finally get a new 3D Mario platformer. There, it seems
A bit
we
of a
have...
prediction.
Yeah, it seems we've got IGN has a solid handle on the situation. And you know what, Triggs? I will say that I don't think, I'll end the show on this. I don't think that this nor the Epic Games layoffs are true indicators of the health of the industry.
Yeah, no, these are microcosms in the greater sphere of gaming, because I mean, you and I know we're out there, we're buying games, we're playing games. You know, if we buy, 2-3 full price video games a year, like, we're part of the demographic that's keeping the industry alive and giving them what they need to keep giving us what they want, right?
Exactly, and and I feel as though even while we went over it here a week ago, where Nintendo, most of the impact of the new game buyer comes from things such as inflated prices for the enthusiast, but you have, at the same time, you have Epic Games and Nintendo saying, well, it seems like we didn't sell as much as we wanted to, regardless of the fact that, as you said earlier, Drix, Fortnite remains. I'm pretty sure it's number one if not it's Roblox, in
Yeah.
engagement for video games and video game platforms, where you also have, when it comes to Nintendo, they had their fastest selling console in their history with the Switch 2.
Yeah, that by no means means that people don't want video games, okay? I mean, our Fortnite data is at the most like 6 months old or something, right? You know, like Fortnite, GTA, Call of Duty, Madden, Football Club 25, 26, you know, it's people are still out there buying and playing video
the
games.
games, yeah.
So don't take the Epic Games Fortnite layoffs or the reduction in Switch 2 manufacturing as, you know, negative signs that the industry as a whole is on a downturn, because we are out here, we are playing games, and there's always more on the horizon. And, you know, people might just be emulating or playing games that came out, you know, to 5, 10 or more years ago.
We got to be real with the situation. People are still playing games on their PS4s and their Switches. I think more now than ever, we are confronted, like the thing that Fortnite downturn and Nintendo Switch 2 downturn truly shows is that people have not made the switch. People do not count on this newer, higher end hardware to play their games. And we might come soon. Yeah, well, we might come soon to a point, hey, if the V-Bucks are going up and you got Chris Hansen breathing down Roblox's neck, then, you know, we might come to a point where there will be a changing of the guard. You know, you're not seeing Call of Duty, like you said, you're not seeing Call of Duty or Madden or Football Club falling into the same traps that Fortnite and Roblox have found themselves in.
Yeah, exactly. Or the Switch 1 versus Switch 2. If you didn't already have a Switch, when the Switch 2 comes out, you might consider picking one up, you know?
Or when a Switch 2 game comes out that you might want.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially considering like the RAM and like other hardware shortages and stuff, the secondhand market is absolutely popping off. Like if somebody wanted to buy a PS4 off of me today, like I might have a competitive rate for you, you know, because I'm spending most of my time on my PS5. But at the same time, they are still putting games out like on the PS4, and you can still enjoy most of the last decade of video games like on a PS4 as opposed to a PS5. It might be at 30 frames per second, not like a PC Master Race gamer. Like, who cares? Like, you're still enjoying, you know, Wukong on your PS4.
Yeah, you're still playing Sonic Racing Cross Worlds on your PS4, on your Switch. These consoles still have huge installed player bases. Hell, they even put Marvel Rivals on the PlayStation 4. They downgraded it. So it's
pretty much the best free games you can even play. Freemium games. They're all still readily available on your PS4 versus your PS5, or your Nintendo Switch versus your Nintendo Switch 2. So maybe they don't even need to make the effort to manufacture 2 million more Switch 2s when 4 million might just be enough for now.
It's not like
till that next Mario game comes out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's not like it's difficult to find a Switch 2 if you want one. They're clearly out there. I still see them on retail shelves all the time. So I don't think this is a bigger like a sign of a big downturn in gaming. I really think that what, if anything, this is a sign of is the lack of variety in the market finally catching up with.
That's what they call correction, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. It's finally catching up.
Correction.
It's finally catching up with the larger gaming ecosystem. Finally, after what, 15 years, 10 years, people are done with Fortnite. After 15 years, people are done with Roblox. It might have taken some sort of weird price increase or reputational damage,
Yeah,
but
a whole generation of kids has reached voting age,
yeah,
playing Fortnite.
we have to think about it like that too. At least that's where my mind goes. So I
Voting
don't think,
and or drinking age.
yeah. So I don't think this is again not a huge downturn in gaming. I think this is a huge downturn in these games because you don't see your Call of Duties. Call of Duty was the worst rated. We had the worst rated Call of Duty last year. It was still breaking records. We had
Jeez.
we have
That's something.
we have not just Madden out here being a force, but again, year after year, college football as a franchise
And
growing.
double,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you still have your huge in franchise sports games, like you're saying. The GTA 5s of the world. My big prediction, Drix, is when GTA 6 comes out, all these older games, that's when the people finally make the big switch en masse. You're going to see GTA 6 come out. Everyone's going to buy a PS5 for it. It doesn't matter if it's $1,000. It's good. People are going to buy it. They're going to play it, and they're going to play the ever-loving shit out of it. And then once everybody actually graduates from their PS4 onto the PS5, then you're going to start seeing even more variety of games being played. It's going to be a slow roll generation, but it's there.
Yeah, that is when the rubber is actually going to hit the road, because I mean we had an announcement date for a trailer for the release of GTA 6,
Yeah.
okay? Here on CFM Radio. You know what I'm saying?
So that's us. GTA 6, it's going to be the game. This report, I'm pretty sure, proves that GTA 6 is going to be the game, because what if Fortnite do it, who can do it? I don't know. I think it's called Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't care if I have to wait a whole other year for it.
I don't think many people do.
I'm not going to live my life expecting GTA 6 to come out tomorrow, because, give them as long as it's going to take until we can have Florida Man the game and finally roam around once again in Vice City in Grand Theft Auto 6.
And that is our show for tonight. If you give us a like if you like us, leave us a comment if you want to listen to a specific song, and if you just want to talk shit or give us or just talk nice, contact at clusterfuckedmedia.com. That's FUKTmedia.com.
Yeah, let me know your video game music requests and I will play them for you. If you need to know where there is a Stern Pokemon pinball game in your zip code, I will look it up for you and I will tell you where you can go and play the hot new Pokemon pinball game on the streets.
There it is. I do believe with that, we will say good night.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week
On CFM Radio.